Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play MediEvil 2 for the Sony PlayStation 1. We are at where we need to be. Full ammo, full health, and I want to equip the lightning and the Gatling gun. Because we're about to take on the demon. And oh boy, this is going to be tough. So let's go ahead and save our progress, because I know we're going to need to do that. Yes, I've been in the museum for a little while just to get everything that I needed. So that way I don't have to buy it in the museum, or here rather. I refill on everything ahead of time in a place where I could find more gold. So that way I can just get the stuff that was here once we go beyond this door. We have a healing fountain that I'm not going to be using. And no. I need provision, not services. We're going to go ahead and refill that Gatling gun ammo all the way up to 999. Once we talk to the spiv. Once we drop down, we can't go back up here. And it's time for a cutscene.
I'll take that, thank you. You never give up, do you, Dan? I knew you'd find the last page of Zarek's spellbook for me. You should have joined me. We would have made a great team. Instead, I got lumbered with these two.
But Master,
Silence. Think about it, Daniel. An eternity by my side. Why, with my powers, I could put flesh onto your bones as easy as pie.
I'll never join you.
What was that? Could you mumble that again? No? Oh well. You two can redeem yourselves. Kill him while I decipher the spell page.
And from here, we have the battle with these two clowns again. We're going to run in a circle, and we're just going to zap these two guys as much as we can. And as soon as we can come across this guy again, I'm going to zap him again. Now, we could have used the Warhammer and fought these two guys the same way we did last time. The only difference is we don't have the same camera angle as we did during our first fight with these guys. So I was better off running in a circle, holding square, making sure the attack is charged all the way up, and then, cool, I have about 40% of my armor left. And then we could be close enough to these guys and zap both of them. You'll more than likely take out Dogman first. Finally remember these two guys' names. The guy on the left is Dogman, the guy on the right is Mander. More than likely you'll take out Dogman first, then you'll be able to take out Mander shortly thereafter. I didn't luck out like I did last time. And now we're going to switch to the Gatling gun. You're going to need this weapon for this next part. And there we go. You want to find that opening, you want to get in there. We're finally going to face the demon.
Oh, you've killed my beloved servants. How tragic. How achingly predictable. Well, Daniel, it's been fun, but now I'm afraid the game is over, and it's time for you to die.
All right. Want to start running around? Come on. I double tapped. Why did you walk? Well, when our good friend Palethorn's ship shows up, you want to shoot at it with the Gatling gun. And you have 2 attacks to deal with from the demon. One of them, they have the hands go up. You want to run around the arena here just to avoid getting smacked. Otherwise, you'll be stunned. And you want to run around the arena to avoid the machine gun fire and the missiles. The missiles will stun you. You do not want those hitting you. Yeah, that's long enough to have that happen. And yeah, when the ground is broken up like that, you can move on to it. You just need to be very careful. It's better to run in an infinite symbol pattern than a circle. That way you can more easily avoid these things. And of course there's the firewalls. There's one, then there's 2 close together. Both of those attacks you can easily avoid just by jumping straight up in the air once. Whenever you do enough damage to Palethorn's ship, you'll do damage to the demon. That's the only way to damage the demon. And it gets harder the more you do this. I was running, game! Come on! Well, I seem to be doing better now than I did in the practice run. I went in the cold with the practice run and I tried to figure stuff out. Now for the 3rd phase, the 2 firewalls are spread farther apart and you can jump between them a little more easily. Just make sure you're all the way to the side. Also for the fist, when the right hand, when the one on the right is up, that means you'll need to go from left to right. If the left hand is up, like so, you'll need to go, he'll go right to left. And I was not fast enough. And I tried to run, but, well, at least I got some hits in. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to go through all your health super quickly. And that's no fun for anyone. And I tried to get some hits in and also avoid the missiles, and I can't do that. I wish there was an easier way to get out of stunlock or a way to get out of stunlock. But once you're stunned, you're in it for just long enough for it to be aggravating. I can't even daring dash my way away. This is why I wish it was easier to get out of stun. But at least I can more easily avoid these things. These attacks from the demon itself. It's Palethorn that's the real pain in the butt. And I'm stunned again. Yeah. If the headbound lunges back like that, you know you're going to get the fire attack. Come on! I was trying to run! If you see a fist go up, you'll know that the demon's going to pound the ground. Right means you go from right to left. Left means you go from left to right. Come on! Why can't I just mash the control pad and the phase buttons to get out of stun? That would help. That would really help. Oh my word. I am taking more damage here than I would like. That was a little better. Run. Okay. And he's going to do the fire breath thing again. There should be one more phase to all this. And once we have Palethorn accidentally, inadvertently shoot the demon again, we'll see it. Better to get hit by the machine gun fire than the missiles, because the missiles are terrible. And I'm still waiting to get... Run. Okay. Doing it bit by bit, but we're pulling it off. And we need to run. I didn't stay near the... I didn't stay near the middle like I should have. Yeah, I didn't really go in a tighter formation like I did, like I should have. And as you can see, you can lose quite a bit of health before you can get past the third or fourth phase. This can be a pain in the butt to do. This is not an easy boss. I will tell you this right now. And if I could make this guy inadvertently shoot the demon, that'd be great. Takes quite a few shots from the Gatling gun to make it happen. Run! Run! I don't like the controls for this game sometimes. I keep thinking that I've double tapped, and the game just acts like I didn't do it. And sometimes I can't get away from the from the missiles fast enough. And I'm starting to run low on ammo a little more than I would like to be. Come on! There we go! Alright, phase 4. The attacks are going to be the same as ever. But now you have 3 flame walls. They're a little further apart. Of course, our friend, Palethorn, will also shoot 4 missiles. As opposed to 3. Come on. I wish it were easier to get out of stun. I wish it were easier to get out of stun lock so that way you don't take a zillion hits of damage. 1, 2, 3. Where you at? Okay. 1, 2, 3. How I am getting better at doing this, I'll never know. There we go! Yes! Finally! I thought I was going to lose on this.
I suppose a decent thing would be to admit defeat. But I ain't a decent man. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. It's funny. All my life, all I wanted was a little respect. And world domination, of course. For people to notice. Well, they'll notice this.
And that is that for MediEvil 2. So apparently, at the end of the game, once we got all 10 chalices and the Gatling gun, and all the weapons, of course, Dan and Kaya went back in time to Dan's time, and they saw the Zarok monster, but it had Palethorn's face. Not exactly sure what this means, because there never was a MediEvil 3. Not quite sure what that would have entailed. I can only imagine. I think my dream for a MediEvil 3 would... Since the first game takes place in 1386 and this one took place in 1886, make the third game take place in 1986. Have some synth pop music playing. Maybe make a few references to some slasher films or something. And of course, fix the problems with MediEvil 2 that I'm going to mention in this review. This game. I like it, but not as much as the first. They tried to do something new here. I can respect that. And they had some new ideas as well. But at the same time, there are some things that I wish were improved on or were never done. For instance, during the first half of the game, I found it a little harder to get around. I wish getting around was a little more intuitive in the first half of the game. Because it was just a bit easy to get lost in the first half of the game. Maybe make the level design just a little less confusing, make it a little more simple. And I probably would have gotten through the stages a little faster. The second part, the second thing that I wish would have been changed, the thing with the fountains. They should never have done that. They should have made it so that I can go to the first stage and use the fountains whenever I need to, over and over. Not make it so that once I exhaust a fountain, it's exhausted for good. That was a really bad decision that didn't need to be made, honestly. I wish they had kept the way the fountains worked just like it was in the first game. Instead, I was going through the museum multiple times to get the energy vials just to refill my health, and it made this take more time than it should have. And I didn't like that. And as you can see, we got through the game in 8 hours of game time. Number 3, the weapon system. They should have kept that the way it was in MediEvil 1. Apparently if I leave the game on the load file thing long enough, it'll continue the title screen as it was, as if I never went to it, which is really weird. Anyway, the whole deal with holding L1 and pressing squared to switch between 2 weapons, it'd be nice if it wasn't forced. Let me select my weapons just like I did in the first game. I didn't mind doing that in the first game. I liked the fact that they did something different to make it a little simpler in the second game. But you could have at least let us choose between the 2 ways of selecting weapons. Also, holding L1 and pressing square to switch between weapons, not the best thing in the middle of combat. That's a little too complex for the most, I would say, the worst of situations. Let me select my weapons just like I did in the first game, and make the 2 weapon slots optional. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and save the game, or not save the game, but load the game anyway, just so I don't have to worry about the title screen anymore. Okay. Yeah, let's go to the demon. Let's pause the game there. That way I'll have something going on besides FMVs and stuff. There, perfect. As I was saying, let me just pause the game and select weapons that way. I like the idea of the 2 weapon slots, but they force you to use the 2 weapon slots and nothing else, and I did not like that one bit. The 4th thing is the camera. The camera, I did not have that much of a problem with. It could have been problematic in the first one, but I didn't really see myself complaining about it all that much in the first game. The second game, it got in the way a good amount of the time. And even when I was using L2 and R2 to move it to where I needed it to, it just wanted to be stubborn and be where it wanted. I didn't like that. Hopefully if there's a MediEvil 3, heck, they've already done it with the 2 remakes of MediEvil 1. If there's a MediEvil 3, there's going to be an improved camera. I mean, it's not 1999-2000 anymore. Let's put it that way. So yeah, the 4 things that I wish were either improved on or not at all. Make the level design a little bit easier, especially in the city areas and the Kew Gardens. because Kew Gardens I had a little bit of trouble getting around. Make the health fountains work like they did in the first game. Make selecting weapons work like it did in the first game. And fix the camera. If somebody were to do all that and put the third game in the 1980s, especially 1986 in particular, although if a MediEvil 3 ever came out, it probably wouldn't do it. I can probably let the settings slide. If those four main things that I talked about were fixed for MediEvil 3, I'd probably play MediEvil 3. If it ever occurred, if it ever got developed, if it ever became a thing. Who's to say? But other than that, this is an alright game. But you can tell it's not as easily remembered. Mostly because the only way to play this game is on PS1. It's never been remade. It's never been made digitally available, as far as I can tell. It never even got a Japanese release because the first game didn't do well in Japan either, because Japanese gamers were not into the idea of a skeleton being the main protagonist. This is an okay game, but it's stuck the PS1 for a reason, or rather for 4 reasons that I just mentioned. And even though the graphics are good, they're a bit of a... They're kind of in the realm of the first game. They're around the same level, maybe a little higher than the first game. And the music and the sound are as good as ever. The controls are still the same as ever, except for the weapon system, the weapon switching system. Again, they much like the health fountains, they tried to fix something that wasn't broken in the weapon system, and I didn't like that. And once you get through this game, there's not really much of a reason to play this game again unless you really like it. There's a little more puzzle elements in the game. There's a little more puzzle solving. Takes a while to figure stuff out, but once you do figure it out, the game can be more of a joy to play. It can be more fun to play. Other than a slightly bigger emphasis on puzzles, a more I wouldn't say more interesting, but definitely different setting of Victorian era England. You've got allies this time around. It's not just you against the world. Though having Kaya or Kaya, however you pronounce her name, I forgot already, and Professor Kift around, that may be a good or bad thing depending on your perspective. You never really seem to get much help or see much of them. It feels like all the work is still being done by Sir Dan. So while you still have allies, it still feels more like you against the world. Dan is still the main focus here. And I wish you did get to see more of the supporting protagonists. Instead, Kaya just gets kidnapped and... Well, Professor Hamilton Kift is understandable, but I wish you worked with Kia a little more. And that's it. Other than that, it's not really as medieval as the first game. The game's okay. It's an alright sequel. But you'll probably find yourself liking the first game more. And there are some things that I wish were done better. And if those things were done better, I wouldn't have taken as long as it did to complete this Let's Play. And that's pretty much all I have to say. It's alright, there are some big problems, and it just makes the game okay as opposed to pretty darn good. Again, actually I never mentioned this to begin with. The first game had a perfect end. There was no cliffhanger. So why there's a second game is beyond me. I don't really know. I can appreciate the fact that there's a sequel. I just wish it were better. And maybe then people would remember it a little more. And maybe it would have been remastered just like the first game was. And around the same time at that. And at this point, if I were to talk about the game anymore, I would be rambling. So, this has been Let's Play MediEvil 2 for the Sony PlayStation 1. Hopefully, you enjoyed this as maybe more than I did. It's one thing to watch the game in action. It's another thing to play it entirely. Special thanks to Nufi Bonga for providing the inspiration for me to play this game. Special thanks to Lying Secret for letting me know that I can save before I face the demon. That way I could refill all my stuff. Thanks once again, Lying Secret. And that's it. Hopefully I'll be back with another game. Maybe that'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between. Who knows? And believe it or not, this will not be the last video because there were some areas in the first 6 stages, basically the stages before Wolfram Hall, where there were some hands that I could put my head on. That's a good thing I liked about the game. I might as well get into that before getting into that briefly. I like the fact that you can put your hand, or rather your head, on a hand that is moving around, and you could use it to get to places you normally couldn't get to. It's really nice for Wolfram Hall, albeit annoying because of that guy who could throw you out and take the key away from you. But there were times where it led to some different situations that you definitely weren't seeing in the first game, especially with the puzzle solving in the sewers. I did like that. But anyway, those stages where you couldn't put your head on the hands yet because the game didn't introduce that mechanic to you yet, I will be going back to those. And I will make one more bonus video after this one where I will show you all the secrets that you can go back and look for. So hopefully you enjoyed this probably a little more than I did. And that's pretty much all I have to say here. And if I had any more, I'd probably be rambling. So, this has been Let's Play MediEvil 2. Stay tuned for that bonus video. And until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.